Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and I went shopping. I know, I said I was going to buy less makeup this year and I am, but there were a few things that I wanted to try. So I decided to go to Sephora specifically because I wanted to pick up the new Rare Beauty Liquid Contour. I picked up the shade Gentle. That is my shade. And while I was there, I happened to stumble upon a few other things. So I did pick up the new NARS eyeshadow 9-pan palette. This is the Afterglow Tempting eyeshadow palette. And because I could not be stopped, I grabbed the new mascara from House Labs. I was very curious about this. It's been getting a little bit of buzz online, so I wanted to kind of see. And I'm in a position where I could use a new mascara. Notice I did not say I needed a new mascara because I've got, quite a few in backup. But I just finished up a tube, so I bought another one. And then while I was, at it, because I was already buying things, I decided to pop over to Ulta and pick up a couple of the new MAC lipsticks. They just recently released a whole range of more neutral leaning lipsticks. As a neutral girly, I am very, very curious about them. So I thought, you know what? With Valentine's Day being tomorrow, let's sit down, put all of these beauties on my face and put together a Valentine's Day inspired look. And I think it came out in a really, really pretty way. So if you'd like to see how all this came together, you're in the right place. One of my absolute holy grail favorites has always been the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This foundation is just so good. I mean, it's expensive, but it's so, so good. So I pump out 2 little dollops onto my hand. I like using a brush lately. The one that I've been absolutely obsessed with, I picked up at the end of last year. This is from Makeup by Mario. It is the F4. And I use it mostly for foundation. I've used it for concealer too, and I like it just fine. But it is foundation that I absolutely love it for. It never has any streaks. Everything goes on really well. And I just cannot help but sing its praises. And the thing that I love about this foundation is that it goes on in such a lightweight and lovely way, but gives the perfect amount of coverage. It's a little bit more on the medium side, though it is buildable. And my skin just always looks absolutely flawless when I wear this. In fact, this is what I wore to the Super Bowl party that I went to with my kids, and I got a lot of compliments on it. There were people there that I had never met before, and they didn't know how old I was, which is always such a fun thing. Like, I am grateful that I get to age and that I am aging in a way that I feel good about, but it's always nice when strangers think that you're a little bit younger than you actually are. So I just love this foundation so much. It is what I am currently panning this year because this bottle is probably right around 2 years old, and I will definitely repurchase. So that looks really, really nice. It is just one layer, and you can still see my skin through it, like my little freckles, but what you cannot see nearly as much is the sun damage that I have very prevalently on the high points of my cheeks. So I just love it for that. Now I am going in with the brand new Rare Beauty. I think these are just called bronzers. I don't think they're actually called contours. Oh no, I lied. It's called the Liquid Contour. I have mine in the shade Gentle, and I have been using this nonstop since I picked it up about a week ago, and I'm really, really enjoying it. This is the lightest of the sort of more cooler shades. I could have gotten away with the next one up. I think it's called Mellow, but that was definitely more of a bronzer tone on me. It was much warmer, and I just really tend to prefer things that are a little bit cooler because they tend to have a little bit more of a gray or rosy aspect to it. I know it's looking really, really harsh on camera. It is not looking that way in person. I think it's just because the lights are so bright in here. It has been raining nonstop for days now, and I am so over it. I'm so over it, especially because Sunday here where I live, which was for me Super Bowl Sunday, was so beautiful. Like, I know it's February, but it was 75 degrees, clear skies, just absolutely beautiful. And it was such a perfect day for that too. My kids got to, like I said, go to that Super Bowl party, see their cousin who's very similar in age to them. They got to play a ton. Like, it was all in all a really, really fun day. I wish that I'd gotten to see more of the game because the game starts so late and my kids are young, and where this party was about an hour away. We only got to see about the first half, but honestly, I don't care that much because I just enjoyed getting to spend time with people that I don't get to see very often, including my brother and his family. So that blended in really, really, really well. Again, it does look a bit harsh, but just wait. Everything comes together. I don't have a new blush or highlight, so I'm just going to go in quickly with one of the liquid highlights from Rare Beauty. This one is in the shade Mesmerize. And I like to do my bronzer and highlighter first and then put the blush over top. I just feel like that gives the most, I don't want to say natural look because nothing is natural, let's be honest. But I do like the effect that it gives a little bit more than, say, doing it in a more traditional bronzer blush highlight that I think a lot of people tend to do. Nothing's wrong. It's just, I feel like for me and for the way that I do my makeup, this tends to give results that I prefer. And I do take it kind of all over, which I'm going to be adding in the blush, so it's really not going to matter all that much. And you've probably noticed I haven't done my concealer yet. This just gives me the freedom to go a little bit crazy, and then I can clean it up. So the blush I'm going in with is from Makeup by Mario. This is one of the Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veil. Wow, that was hard to say. In the shade Perfect Pink. I really enjoy this shade a lot. I feel like it's a little bit more vibrant than some of the other blushes that came out in this line. So I just dab my little brush in there and then go back and forth. This is also a cooler toned pink, at least on me. So it does have a little bit of that kind of purpley lilac sort of vibe to it, which I think also goes nicely with the cooler tone of the contour that I'm using as contour and bronzer at the same time. So you see, it just melts in so beautifully. And because the blush is going over top of the highlighter, the highlight gives, I guess we're going to go with the word natural, a slightly more natural appearance because it's showing through the blush and giving the blush kind of a glowy blush sort of feel to it in those areas. And I just think it looks so, so pretty. So now that that's done, we are going to finally go in with concealer. Tower 28, it is what I'm panning. If you guys are following that, oh, I'm getting close on this, I hope. I haven't pulled the stopper yet, so we'll see once I do that if I'm still feeling confident or if I feel like I'm back at square one, because there is always just so much product behind the stopper. It's wild. If you are not someone who has ever pulled the stopper on things, it's life-changing, for real. Like, you think you're done with something, and then you pull the stopper, and you're like, oh, okay, all right. So if that's something that you want to try doing, when you feel like you've gotten to the point that you can pull the stopper, use it for another good 2 weeks, maybe even month, and then you might be ready. Because I'm telling you, it is so deceptive. Once you pull that stopper, you're going to be not nearly as close to being done as you may have thought that you were. And that's a good thing. Like, I'm saying it like it's devastating or something like that, and it's definitely not. It's just, you know, something to be aware of. But I am finally seeing a good bit of windowing with this Tower 28, and I've been using it almost exclusively for the entirety of last year. I feel like I'm pretty sure I got it either at the beginning of the year or possibly the very end of the year previous. It just is a product that is going on and on forever. So if you like this product, I feel like it's pretty good bang for your buck. And as you can see, I don't go in with just like a little dot in the corners of the eyes or something. So I'm really getting in there, and it's lasted a really long time. So that is looking really, really nice. I do like to take whatever is left on the end of my brush after having blended everything out and just kind of clean up a little bit of the hollows of my cheeks. Just because, as I said, I do tend to get a little wild when applying my complexion products. And just for reference, this is a Sephora 57. I really enjoy the Sephora brushes. I think they're lovely. Now for powder, I am so extra. I have two powders that I go in with. So for my under eyes, I've been absolutely obsessed with this powder from Tarte. This is the Creaseless Setting Powder. I have mine in the lavender shade. Teresa from Teresa's Dead has been raving about this product for a while now, at least. So when it went on sale around the holidays at, I think, Ulta, I picked one up, and I'm so glad that I did, because I feel like this is the perfect stand-in for the Givenchy that I used to use underneath my eyes, and obviously can't anymore because they changed their formula. But this is beautiful. I mean, I struggled with the Makeup by Mario setting powder, and I think it's because I don't like it underneath my eyes. I don't know if it's the color or what, but I never felt like I enjoyed it. But with this powder, because the only thing I do is set my under eyes with it, and then I can go in with the Makeup by Mario for the rest of my face. And I've been absolutely loving it ever since. So that is the Tarte. Again, this is the Makeup by Mario. I have mine in the shade 2 Neutral Light. And then I just take it very, very gently across the rest of my face, just because I prefer setting my liquid and cream products. So just take a little bit, tap it off really, really good, and then just dot it around the rest of my face. Because I still want a good bit of my complexion products to show through. I may go over them with a little bit of powder, but I try to keep the amount of product that I'm using to a minimum, because I find that for me and my aging skin, that definitely helps with how my makeup looks, especially throughout the day. Is that the less product I can use, the happier I tend to be with the look. Just a little bit more along the center. And that looks absolutely beautiful. So I have already done my brows. I'm going to leave my complexion there for now, and I can always bump up any of the complexion kind of colors once I get my eyeshadow done and I can see how everything is sitting together. So let's go ahead and zoom in on the eyes, and we'll use our eyeshadow palette. Eyelids are primed and set, and I'm very excited to be using this beautiful little 9-pen palette from NARS. I am a sucker. I am a sucker for this kind of color story, and I really do enjoy the NARS formula. So this is what she looks like, and she's just so cute. She is just so cute. And I have used it one time before, and the only real criticism that I'm going to give to it for my own self is that I do have to pull in a blending shade. This shade right here in this, what is actually the top corner, is beautiful, but it is just a smidge deep for my personal extraordinarily pale face. So just be aware of that. But gosh, these shimmers in here are outstanding. They are ranging from nicely opaque shimmers to beautiful ethereal topper shades. And I absolutely love this. In fact, it's very reminiscent of one of my very favorite NARS singles ever, which is Earthshine. I think I still have one in the back of my drawers somewhere that is well over a decade old at this point, but oh, it is really beautiful. So I think that I'm going to embrace some purple today because I haven't used these yet. So I'm going to go in with this shade right here. These are named on the back, and I think this one is probably called No Lies. It's one of those where the little card on the back is kind of possibly backwards from the way that they show up in the actual palette. So hopefully I'm telling you no lies. So cheese. I know the cheese factor is stupid. Okay, so I have to ask you, are you a Valentine's Day person? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not. I really never have been. But my kids are big into basically every single holiday. So historically, my husband and I really haven't done much. We usually have a tradition of cooking. In fact, our third date ever was Valentine's Day, and he cooked for me chicken penne vodka. Yeah, and he totally forgot to boil off the noodles. So he went through all of this, like, showmanship of putting together this vodka sauce that you light on fire, and it was very impressive until he realized he had nothing to put the sauce on. And it was very funny, and it's something that we still kind of laugh about even now, all these years later. But we don't really have a tradition of like going out or doing a lot of things. In fact, he was like, well, do you want me to buy you something for a Valentine's Day gift? And I was like, no. I was like, no, I don't know what on earth to get for me or for you, honestly. So we are just going to stay in, of course. I did get some things for the kids. When I was at Walmart, they had these awesome stuffies, and my kids are still pretty obsessed with stuffed animals. So I got those for them. And then I think tomorrow, because today is Thursday, tomorrow I'm going to wake up super early. Like, I'm the one that gets up the earliest anyway to get the kids awake and dressed for school and all that kind of stuff. But I think I'm going to get up super duper early, and I'm going to make French toast, but I'm going to cut the little bread into heart shapes with a cookie cutter, and I think that'll be cute. So hopefully that happens. But my kids are terrible about eating breakfast, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm hoping that this will help them want to have a good breakfast in their bellies before school. But then I'm going to do all the dinner stuff as well, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Okay, so I like the way that this sort of purpley orchid color is looking, and I don't feel like I have to diffuse it out too much. I think it's sitting really nicely. And then I'm going to take this shade right here on the end, which, I don't know, might be called Follow Me. Maybe. We'll see. And use that to kind of deepen up the outer edges. It is brown, but it has a beautiful kind of plummy undertone to it, so that it works nicely with both of the mattes that are in this palette. And I think that that is very helpful. But yeah, so for dinner tomorrow, I'm going to be making just an absolutely ridiculous menu. The kids still don't eat the same things that my husband and I do. So I'm making enchiladas for 2 of my 3 kids. And then my third kid doesn't like anything but quesadillas. So that's what they're getting. So quesadillas and enchiladas. And then for my husband and me, I'm going to be making a blank steak. Absolutely one of my very favorite cuts of steak, to be very honest with you. It is just the best. But I will usually sear it off and then let it rest in a board sauce with lime and salt and garlic and cilantro, and it is just absolutely perfect. probably grill off some vegetables to go with it. And I'm really excited to do it because, like I said, usually my husband is the one that cooks. And so taking it over this year will give him a little bit of, a treat, as well as, making something that, to be honest, we don't get to have all that often. Again, because like I said, our kids don't eat well anyway. But also everything is just so expensive that it's gotten to where flank steak used to be a less expensive cut until it started getting more and more popular. And now that everybody knows that it's awesome, it's no longer an inexpensive cut of meat. Why does that always seem to be the case? I mean, I felt that way with pork. I felt that way with chicken thighs. It's like the minute people are like, I can't afford what's at the store, so let's find a way to do something awesome with what we can afford. Conspiracy theory says that the industries are like, oh, okay, this is popular. Let's go ahead and raise prices on those too. And then everything is just ridiculously expensive. So it'll be nice to do something a little bit special. And I'm looking forward to it. Oh, but I'm also going to make a dessert. I haven't been making desserts lately because I've been trying to take off some of the poundage. But I found a recipe for this beautiful raspberry chocolate mousse brownie cake thing. Oh my God. I'll try to insert a picture of the professional picture of it. But I'm very excited to give that a try, and hopefully all my kids will try it because they mostly love raspberries. But if it looks even a little bit different, they're like, no, pass. Okay, so I really like the way that the mats are sitting down, and now it comes to what I want to use as far as the shimmers go. I'm kind of really leaning towards this center shade right here. You can't really tell on camera, but it's got kind of a purpley, cooler shift. But then this one is a little bit on the pinkier side, and I am wearing pink. So honestly, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go with the pinkier of the two. So this is the top center one, which should be Sweet Nothing. And that'll be, yeah, I think that'll be really pretty. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping that I can get my timing down right. I feel like I used to cook all the time, and I used to make like elaborate meals, and I really enjoyed entertaining and cooking. But that was before I had kids, and when it was just my son, I still could kind of keep up with those things a little bit better. But then after the twins were born, it was game over. Like, my ability to do anything seems to have just gone right out the window. I'm just using a little bit of the NYX glitter primer and then going in to put that shimmer on top. Ooh, that's very pretty. That is very pretty. Again, I really enjoy the NARS eyeshadow formula. I don't purchase them all that often because, let's be honest, a lot of their palettes that come out just seem like replications of themselves. So I don't typically buy them, but this one was different enough, I felt like, that I could justify the price point. There is one palette, though, that I wish that I had purchased, and I will probably pop in a picture. I feel like it was called the Climax palette, but then again, it's NARS. I feel like everything is called that, so I might be wrong, but it had this like army green grunginess to it, and y'all know how I feel about green. But I was either on a low buy or a no buy, and I was trying to be good, and so I didn't buy it. Or maybe I thought I was going to buy it for my birthday or something. I don't know. But I missed the boat and I did not get it. And it is one of the few makeup items that haunt me. Like, do you have those things that you didn't buy, but that you kind of, I don't want to say like regret, because that's an awfully big word for makeup, because let's be real, it is just makeup. It's not really all that serious, but it's one of those ones that it does kind of haunt me whenever people go through and they talk about, you know, the makeup that they always have loved or that is in their top, I'll never get rid of. Like, that palette shows up quite frequently, and every time it does, I'm like, dang it. Should have done it. Should have done it. But that's okay. That is just so pretty. I am so thrilled with that. And it really doesn't need all that much more. I'll probably do a bit of eyeliner. I initially was going to use brown, but I feel like that might not be the way to go. Let's see. Let me pull some options real quick. This is an absolute go-to for me. This is from Nabla. This is one of their stylos, and it is the berry shade. I use this all the time, and I really enjoy it. The one thing I don't love is that it is a thicker kind of crayon, and so it's a little bit harder for me to be quite as intentional as I would want to be sometimes. But I mean, other than that, it's beautiful. There are a few other shades that I really, really want, but I don't need. So I'm just going to go along my waterline, and then I am going to try to tightline a bit with it. Yeah, that is exactly what I wanted. Yes, that is absolutely perfect. This is, oof, like I said, it is such a staple. I use it constantly. Okay, finally, I do have a new mascara. I decided to pick up the new one from House Labs. I've used it a few times, and I don't know how I feel about it. Let me get a closer mirror. It is a very dry formula, and I like that, but then at the same time, it's almost a little bit too dry. I'm worrying. So this is what the wand looks like. It is kind of a more natural bristle, and it does kind of the hourglass sort of shape to it, but not aggressively so. And it is still tapered enough, especially at the end, that I feel like I can get in and get my lashes without making a mess. However, I have found that it takes some building because it is such a dry formula. And I had a suspicion that it was going to be dry, but I didn't realize it would be this dry. So when I was at Sephora, I opened one of the testers just to see what the wand looked like more than anything. And I noticed, I was like, ooh, this is kind of thick and like, not thick and gloopy necessarily, but like, this is going to sound terrible when I say it this way, but like almost like thick and gummy. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but even then, it's drier than being gummy. I wish I knew how to explain it well. I feel like you guys are looking at me going, seriously, what are you even talking about? But I could tell just by the tester that it was going to be a drier formula, but I also figured, you know, this is the tester. It's been open many, many, many times by people. So it's gonna, you know, be dry because of that. So I was surprised by just how dry this formula is. It's not a bad thing. I know I'm going on and on and on. It's just something to be aware of. Now, if you are someone who likes really dry formulas, like you open a mascara and then don't touch it again for a couple of months, you would probably really, really love this. All right, I need to focus. All right, as you can see, this is before I've dipped it back in. So I am going to go ahead, put the brush back in, give it another little bit of a swirl, and then go against the top lashes a second time. I'm going to leave the bottom ones alone, but the top lashes I am going to give a second coat to. All in all, though, I really do love the way my lashes look when I use this. I'm just letting y'all know that it does take some building, and it builds a little bit more slowly than some other formulas. I think that was the point that it took me an eon to get to, but it's worth it. Now, I have also not experienced any smudging or flaking. It hasn't transferred to my lower part of the eyes or anything like that. So far, again, I've only used it a handful of times, but so far, I have enjoyed it. And finally, we've arrived at lips. I did pick up 2 of the new MAC lipsticks. that they just released in their new colors. My Ulta only had a few shades, which is such a bummer because I really wanted to swatch like so many. But I did go ahead and pick up 2 shades. I picked up Yash. Okay. And Iconic Photo. So let me go ahead and swatch the both of these for you. Like I said, I did swatch these in store because I know that I've seen some of the swatches having some interesting undertones to them. And so I was a little bit hesitant to just purchase sight unseen, but there are probably going to be a few that I am going to pick up and hope for the best. I don't know. But these are both in the Silky Matte formula, which I do quite like this formula. There are some in the Luster that I really want as well. So these are the 2 shades. This is Iconic Photo, and then this over here is Yash. I like them. We're going to try them both out. So I'm going to start with the lighter of the 2. I'm going to start with Yash and see how that goes. I do have a lip liner over here that I'll probably add to whichever one we go with. I like that quite a bit. This is as close to like concealer lips that I could personally feel comfortable with. That's just a personal thing. This is just slightly deeper than my skin tone. I know it looks a little bit more contrasty to you guys because the camera's picking it up differently, but in like real life, it's almost the same color as the kind of darker part of my lip line. I hope that makes sense. But it's really pretty and I feel like it's very easy to wear. And I think it would go nicely, especially with a slightly deeper lip liner. I think that would look really nice. But let's try the other one on as well. And here we have Iconic Photo. That is so nice too. I really like that a lot. I think for this look though, I'm going to go back to Yash. But I really like this color so much. Ooh, I'm so happy with these shades. And you know the problem? That's going to embolden me to buy more. That's what's going to happen. My Makeup Forever. This is the Waterproof Artist Lip Liner in Anywhere Caffeine. This is a little bit warmer than the lipstick, but I think it'll be okay. I like that. I like that a lot. I do feel like I want a little bit of gloss though. Ooh, I know the perfect one. Hold on. So this is from Amicole. This is one of their lip oils in the shade Bliss. And I think that this is going to be the perfect vibe to go with this lip color. Yeah, that is the perfect amount of gloss. Do not sleep on these. They are so nice. And I do think, we might need just a smidge more blush. What do I want to use? I think I'm going to use from Kosas. This is the Euphoria in their Blush is Life range. But I want something really big and fluffy. So I know this is what I use for my powder. But I'm just going to... And I want to use this because it's got a similar sort of color. But it also has that little bit of pearliness to it. So I don't have to worry about any more like highlight or anything. It's just going to bump up. Yes. Just going to bump up a bit of the color. That is perfect. I'm so happy with this look. All right, so this is the finished look. And I have to say, I could not be more pleased with it. I think it came out so just soft and pretty and girly, and I really, really like it a lot, and I'm so, so happy with it. Now, I don't think that I have to go into too much detail about my thoughts on the new product, since I'm pretty sure it came off pretty clearly while I was applying everything. But just to recap, the Rare Beauty Contour, I really like this. I've been wearing this nonstop since I brought it home, and it's usually the only like bronzer contour product that I'm wearing. As you saw, I did not apply any additional powder over it, and I think it works so nicely for my personal skin tone, and it just looks really healthy and nice on me without going overboard. This is not meant to give a tanned look. I am sure that I will have a different opinion of it once the warmer months hit. But for right now, especially in the colder months when you don't really have that much of a tan, at least in the climate I live in, I think it comes off so beautifully. The eyes. Oh, I love this palette. It is so freaking pretty and very, very easy to use. Like I said, you saw everything going on in real time, everything blended beautifully. I had just the smallest bit of fallout on my cheeks from the shimmer that I placed on my lids, but other than that, everything was just so nice and easy to use. And the mascara, again, while it is a drier formula, it is just so lovely and gives such a beautiful look to the eyelashes. Like, it's there, and it's on the edge of dramatic. Does that make sense? Like, it's making a statement, but it's not like over the top dramatic. Like, there are looks that call for that. This, I feel like, will give you what you're looking for, whether you are hanging around with, just your friends, whether you're going into the office, or if you're going out on a nice night out. I think you'll be happy with how this makes your lashes look. And then finally, the lips. These two MAC lipsticks are gorgeous. They are gorgeous, and I am sure that some more will make it into my life. I know I said I was going to buy less makeup, and good Lord knows I don't need any more lipstick. Oh, but they're just so pretty. They're just so pretty. So let me know if you have tried any of these products and what your thoughts and feelings are. I would love to know, especially the mascara. Mascara is such a personal choice. And I would love to know if you've tried this mascara and what your thoughts are. I'm very, very curious. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing before you leave. If you celebrate Valentine's Day, I hope that your day is fantastic. And if you don't, I hope that you still have an absolutely magnificent day. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.